Victor Oladokun. It's our privilege this morning to be hosting this event, which for me, if you've noticed, of course you must have noticed me doing the pictures, always with a thumbs up, because that's what it is. Thumbs up for the stakeholder enterprise of digital economy and creative innovation, not just for Nigeria and Nigerians worldwide, but indeed for the collective critical mass of our very distinctive, should I call it collateral, as Nigerians, our distinctive genius, our distinctive creativity, all of that, but nothing is anything without that global SDG of working with our global partnerships. So good morning and welcome to Abuja and to the Villa and of course to this event. To all of our excellencies, ambassadors, their representatives, thank you and welcome. Nigeria is in a very distinctive and dynamic place of transition right now. This is critical to defining not just the path and trajectory, but the inspiration for our Nigerian youth and our creative hubs of national transformation. Uncle Victor, I'm not just HAPPY, I just feel absolutely privileged to be part of this. I love the way you're smiling at me. That's what happens when in Yoruba you are called an aburo and you have the privilege of the first time standing with your Egmo. Again, I doff my hat in enough respects. Good morning to everyone in the room, His Excellency the Vice President and his entourage of the Excellency's executive governors will be accessing the room any moment now. We'll be taking the national anthem, the first verse, and we will ask that you remain standing for the national prayer, which is the second verse of the national anthem. O God of creation, direct our noble course. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dio Benjamin's Lani Ni Olumide of Abeokuta, Ogun State for emphasis. It really is a joy to share this platform with you today. Dio is one of the most distinguished moderators that Nigeria has, and it really is an honor to share today with you. I believe with all of my heart, and I'll come to that in a moment, I believe with all of my heart that today's event is critical to the development of this great nation. Our youth, enabled with their passion, dynamism in the digital space, in the creative arts, are doing exceptional work. Please rise for the arrival of the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and his entourage of ministers and founding partners.
I don't see him yet. Okay. What do I see? It's not yet here. Is he here? Is he here? He's coming later. Okay, so we should...
Okay, you may be seated. I gather the Vice President will be coming in shortly. Your Excellencies, thank you for joining us. We await the arrival of the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, shortly.
So just as a matter of background information, His Excellency the Vice President, along with the President of the African Development Bank and the holding room with some of the other excellencies, they will be, oh, here they come. Please shall we all rise for His Excellency the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, GCON, in the company of His Excellency, President of the African Development Bank. Please let us welcome the Africa OIC and persona we call Optimist in Chief for Africa, Dr. Akiwumi A. Adesina. Well, let's celebrate them a round of applause as they come in, and an expression of our thumbs up position in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Today, rolling the dice for iDice Investment in Digital and Creative Enterprises Program. Shall we all please remain standing as we now call for the national anthem of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. National prayer, second verse of our national anthem. O God of creation, direct our noble cause, guide our leaders right and help our youth the truth to know, in love and in honesty to grow, and living just and true, great lofty heights attain, to build a nation where peace and justice reign. Amen. You may be seated, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests. Dr. Victor Oladipo.
Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to the official launch of the Investment in Digital and Creative Enterprise, otherwise known by the acronym iDice. I'm Dr. Victor Oladipo, and I'm joined by my very dear friend and colleague, one of Nigeria's most distinctive voices of our time, Dayo Benjamin Lani. It is an honor to moderate this exciting game-changing event today. This is a launch where investment capital and political will underpin Nigeria's ever-evolving ecosystem of technology, creativity, and innovation. And where, as we're about to hear over the next hour or so, we will hear about the tremendous opportunities for strategic collaboration, which are endless, the potential to change dramatically and transform Nigeria's economic space. Once again, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you very much, Dr. Victor Oladipo, Nigeria's legacy broadcaster, global communications consultant, and of course, a distinctive leader, mentor, and driver of the communications enterprise. Good morning and welcome. It's time to roll the dice for iDice. And iDice is all about instituting investment in digital and creative enterprise for Nigeria, through Nigeria to the world. What we're about to engage here and what we're about to release from this space is glocal. Yes, made in Nigeria, but made for a legacy to global economies and transformation to youth, leadership, and corporate representation. You are welcome. Your Excellency, the chairperson of this event, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Professor Yemi Osinbajo, SANGCON. Good morning, welcome, congratulations, and a big thumbs up from a community and a future that is here now present and will continue to celebrate this auspicious, intentional intervention for national development. Along with you today, Your Excellency, we welcome His Excellency the President of the African Development Bank, Dr. Akinwumi A. Adesina, is Africa's Optimist-in-Chief, OIC, a financial incubator himself, an innovator of creative enterprise, and when he was the agricultural minister here in Nigeria, he brought out the phrase for the very first time about youth in agroeconomy called agropreneurs. We continue to celebrate not just agro-enterprise, but global enterprise. Good morning, welcome. Africa celebrates you, and Nigeria is proud that you are home. Today as well, we'd like to properly acknowledge all of the presence of their excellencies. We have with us the executive governor presentation. And once they're here in the room, that critical mass will be properly represented by none other than the chairperson of the Governors Forum, His Excellency Aminu Tambuwal. But here present with us, we have a prestigious cluster of honorable ministers of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, honorable ministers who today are the Ministerial Steering Committee for IDICE, led by Mrs. Dr. Zainab Shamsuna Ahmad, Honorable Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, and Governor of the African Development Bank Group. Please, let's put our hands together and appreciate her presence here today. Good morning, thank you very much. We'd also like to acknowledge and welcome Otumba Adeni Adebayo, Honorable Minister for Industry, Trade and Investment. Good morning, thank you, we celebrate you, congratulations. Professor Isa Ali Ibrahim Pantami, Honorable Minister for Communication and Digital Economy. Well, there you are, sir. Thank you. Please, let's put our hands together and properly appreciate his presence here with us. We'd like to appreciate Alhaji Lai Mohammed CON, Honorable Minister for Information and Culture. Please, another round of applause for him. Thank you. Distinguished Senator Adeleke Mamara, Honorable Minister for Science, Technology, and Innovation. Good morning, sir, and welcome. Thank you very much. We'd like to acknowledge here with us also special advisors. Well, before I mention the special advisor, may I properly acknowledge the Deputy Chief. We have with us the Ambassador of France, Madame Emmanuela Blankton. Please, you're welcome. We appreciate you, celebrate your being here. We have with us the UN Resident Representative, Nigeria, Ambassador Mo. Please, let's put our hands together and appreciate his presence here. We have with us also the acting head of the EU delegation in the person of Inga Stefanovic. Please, let's welcome Inga Stefanovic. Thank you very much. I'd also like to properly acknowledge here with us today the representative of the DG Debt, the Debt Management Office in the person of Mr. Oladile Afolabi. You are welcome. The Honorable Segun Awolowo, of course, a distinctive expression in governance and the advocacy of enterprise when it comes to investment, and the NIPC driver of the non-oil economy of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Good morning, welcome. I know today must be special. It's thumbs up for everyone. All of the representations that have come from the ministries, from all of the stakeholder enterprise of industry leaders, unicorns, stakeholders of Nigeria creative sector and the digital economy. We'd also like to acknowledge here with us our investor co-financers and all of their representation. Will be taking due recognitions in the protocol a little further ahead on the program. We'd like to acknowledge all DGs, heads of government and institutional parastatals here present, agencies, you are welcome. All of the representation, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen, and today a very special acknowledgement of great Nigerian youth. Please let's put our hands together for the Nigerian youth who are making not just possible, but making right now the mandate of the Nigerian youth, the mandate of the new Nigeria. Once again, good morning, welcome to iDice, the official launch of this investment initiative of the Federal Republic of Nigeria in creative, enterprise, and digital economy. Dr. Victor Oladokun, over to you. Okay, right now we'd like to invite to please come up for the opening welcome remarks. As I earlier on explained, I will be taking other protocols that are still a priority for us in terms of co-financers and partners a little further on, immediately after this introductory welcome remark. Thank you very much. I'd like to invite now for welcome remarks the Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Otumba Ni Adebayo. Thank you.
Your Excellency, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the President of the African Development Bank, members of the Federal Executive Council, representatives of the Islamic Development Bank and the Agence Française de Développement, Your Excellency, the French Ambassador to Nigeria, the Deputy Chief of Staff to the President, Special Advisors to the President, the Executive Secretary of the National Action Committee on the African Continental Free Trade Area, top government officials, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure to welcome you all to the launch of the Investment in Digital and Innovation Creative Enterprise Program, iDice, an initiative of the Federal Government of Nigeria in collaboration with the African Development Bank, the Islamic Development Bank, and the Agence Française de Développement. The initiative aims to ignite entrepreneurship and innovation in technology and creative industries and create significant job opportunities for the Nigerian youth. We have witnessed significant growth in the technology and creative industries globally and in Nigeria. Creative industries are reported to have generated $2.25 trillion in revenue and employed 29.5 million people worldwide. And forecasts indicate that the creative sector could represent 10% of global GDP by the year 2030. Nigeria's media and entertainment industry is one of the fastest growing in the world. According to the Nigerian National Bureau of Statistics, the information and communication technology and digital economy sector contributed about 18.44% to Nigeria's GDP in the second quarter of 2022. Also, according to the International Monetary Fund, IMF, the entertainment industry now accounts for on average 1.45% of Nigeria's GDP, with Nollywood, the movie production subsector of the creative sector, now globally recognized as one of the top 3 in the world after America's Hollywood and India's Bollywood. The unique structure of the creative sector, which relies on networks of small and medium-sized enterprises, freelance and gig workers, and largely young people, has and can further catalyze local sustainable development. One of our mandates at the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment is to boost the growth of micro, small, and medium-scale enterprises, MSMEs, and to position them as a catalyst for the growth and development of the larger economy. It is therefore clear that a project such as this, which supports SMEs and entrepreneurship, is one that is especially welcome. We are proud of the work we have been doing to promote the growth of MSMEs, and this includes the development of a national MSME policy, which provides a framework for resolving the challenges MSMEs face, and the launch of the MSME Market Hub app by the Small and Medium Enterprise Development Agency of Nigeria, SMEDAN, which aims to provide a seamless interaction between MSMEs and customers, as well as enhance capacity building. Our commitment towards the technology and creative sector, movie, music, telecommunications, publishing, gaming, information services, and others, is likely to position these sectors as
on the innovative, dynamic, cutting-edge, groundbreaking, and truly positively disruptive IDICE program.
By 2050, 77% of Nigeria's population will be under the age of 35. The country must create at least 5 million new jobs annually to deal with a growing number of young people entering the labor market. So, what are the odds facing Nigerian youth? When you roll the dice, the odds look bright. Boosted by the largest African telecom market, Nigeria has a competitive advantage for a vibrant and evolving ICT with more than 85 active tech hubs across the education, fintech, agriculture, healthcare, logistics and travel sectors, among others. Creativity is also thriving and dominates Nigeria with a successful industry estimated to be worth $6.4 billion in 2021 and with the potential to create 2.7 million jobs by 2025. Brimming with creativity, bursting with innovation, and blessed with boundless potential, Nigeria's youth are poised to take the lead in driving their economy. A new initiative, the Investment in Digital and Creative Enterprises Program, also called IDICE, is set to further consolidate Nigeria's position as Africa's leading startup investment destination and youth entrepreneurship hub. Initiated by the government of Nigeria, the program was supported by the African Development Bank Group, l'Agence Française du Développement, and the Islamic Development Bank. It is tapping into Nigeria's potential as part of the
Big, disrupting the status quo, facilitating innovation, and imagining new possibilities. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what sets apart many of the leaders that are gathered here today. And it is for this reason that we can confidently say we are in good company. It now gives me great pleasure to invite to the podium a leader with extensive knowledge and insights in the intersections of banking and technology. He has always been willing to push the boundaries of what is possible with an eye on the bottom line and a passionate belief in the emergent, dynamic, and innovative Nigeria that is possible. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to Mr. Kayode Biton, the MD and CEO, Bank of Industries, and the head of the executing agency that is IDICE. He is ably represented today by Mr. Umar Shekaro, the Executive Director for SMEs at the Bank of Industries. You're welcome.
Thank you very much, sir. That was a clear description of my MD, actually, who is unavoidably absent, currently at another national assignment outside the country. Your Excellency, the Vice President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, SAN GCON, the President of the African Development Bank, Honorable Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Honorable Minister of Communication and Digital Economy, Honorable Minister of Information and Culture, Honorable Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation, members of the Diplomatic Corps, representatives of ministries, departments and agencies of government, core financiers from African Development Bank, the French Development Bank, agency rather, and the Islamic Development Bank, representatives of the organized private sector, guests here present, and online guests. I am presenting the MD's speech as written and approved by him. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is my delight to be here today at the official launch of the Investment in Digital and Creative Enterprises program, an initiative of the Federal Government of Nigeria, African Development Bank, the French Development Agency, and Islamic Development Bank to promote entrepreneurship and innovation in the digital economy and creative sectors, especially to young Nigerians. The IDIAS program, which is popularly known as From Today, is expected to create about 6 million jobs, especially for young people. Over 175,000 youth shall be equipped with skills in digital technology and creative industries. 75 enterprise support organizations, as well as 226 creative enterprises shall also benefit from this program. Sorry about that. The federal government is passionate about leveraging the evolving innovations that have emerged in these sectors in the last couple of years to create sustainable jobs. I am proud on behalf of my MD and the institution to mention that the Bank of Industry shall act as the execution partner of this initiative. As you are aware, youth unemployment and underemployment in our country is growing at an alarming rate. Hence, there is no gainsaying the need to creating opportunities to our youth population to become entrepreneurs rather than job seekers. This is the fundamental reason why the federal government went into a strategic alliance with these great multilateral institutions to set up this laudable program. Micro, small, and medium enterprises are the core of entrepreneurship in Nigeria, as is the case in most other economies. They contribute about 40% to our national GDP and also account for over 80% of employment. They operate in virtually every sector of the economy, including the creative, information, communications, and technology sectors. To foster economic growth and job creation through entrepreneurship, we must keep advancing in our quest towards creating an ecosystem that nurtures innovation, improves ease of access to affordable credits, and create an enabling and business-friendly system. All these are the comprehensive objectives of the IDIAS program. Bank of Industry, your bank, is no stranger to managing programs of this scale and size. The bank has managed several funds and programs on behalf of various strategic partners. A notable one is the federal government MSME Survival Fund, one of the programs under the government's National Economic Sustainability Program, directly supervised by the Office of the Vice President, which resulted in the disbursement of 75 billion naira to over 1.2 million Nigerian youth. The bank has also, we also have our own youth-based products, the YES program, which is the Youth Entrepreneurship Program, the Graduate Entrepreneurship Program, which is a collaboration with NYSC, providing funds for thousands of youth corpus across the country, by which we have provided business management training and affordable loans to thousands of Nigerian youth. Also, a recognition of the critical role that technology plays in creating job opportunities for Nigerian youth, the bank has funded the establishment of 7 technology hubs across the country, based purely on our corporate social responsibility strategy. These hubs provide opportunities for converting technology ideas into business solutions and eventually to market. They also offer shared workspace that foster collaboration, knowledge sharing, innovation, and creativity to entrepreneurs. The 20 approved share facilities, 100% supervised by the Office of the Vice President, comes to mind here. 5 have been commissioned by the Vice President himself, 9 are ready for commissioning soon, and 6 are at various stages. I want to close by expressing our sincere gratitude to the Federal Government of Nigeria, African Development Bank, French Development Agency, and the Islamic Development Bank for birthing this impressive program. I also want to thank all stakeholders for their continuous effort in getting us to this point. We remain very hopeful that this program shall yield all the benefits that it was designed to achieve, as well as commit our professional and relentless support to a seamless execution of the program. Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, your bank, the Bank of Industry, is ready and committed to the success of this project. Thank you all.
Well, a more robust round of applause for your bank. The Bank of Industry is ready, and the summary is intentional. Thank you very much, representing the MD, CEO of the Bank of Industry, Mr. Olukayode Piton, in the person of the Executive Director, SMEs for the Bank of Industry, Mr. Omar Shekarau. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Intentional projects need intention, intentional drivers, and the intentionality of the enterprise to become a bastion of deriving new initiatives for intentional outcomes. In listening to that presentation, clearly, the stakeholder enterprise is one that is global and very intentionally local. I'd like, therefore, once again to properly acknowledge with us some of those international partnerships. Having listened to our government counterpart financier, we'd like to acknowledge the representative of the co-financiers of the DG Agence Française de Développement in the person of the French ambassador representing Mr. Rémi Rieu. And once again, we appreciate and welcome Emanuela Blatten. Thank you. Thank you very much, madam. Acknowledging her, again, the acting head of cooperation, EU delegation to Nigeria, Inga Stefanovic. You're welcome. Javier Muron, country director of the African Development Bank. Please, an acknowledgement and applause for him. And Mo Yaya, the UNDP resident rep to Nigeria. We also have with us MD of Galaxy Backbone, Professor Mohammed Abubakar, representing the Honorable Minister of Communications and Digital Economy. Please, let's acknowledge and properly welcome him here in this very auspiciously gathered coordination of events with our delegations and stakeholders. Well, that pause was because I realized that in celebrating our innovative Nigerian youth, there is only one way to do it right, and you're doing it without, as we say in Nigeria parlance, forming. Great Nigerian youth, great. Great Nigerian youth, great. Greatest of the greatest of the greatest Nigerian youth, great. And if everyone else in this room is too organized to put their hands together, I'm going to challenge you. Great Nigerians! Excellency VP, please help me. Great VP! Celebrating you, and thumbs up for everything you're doing to drive this very purposefully. The Nigerian youth are robust, dynamic, audacious, and in every sense of doing what they do what they do in Nigeria with what we call SWAG, swag. And which is why in rolling the dice today, it's about making a very, very deliberate, intentional will to express creative economy with creative audacity. It's in the words, it's in the melody, it's in the music. It's in the rhythms, it's in the spoken word, it's on the streets, it's in the politics, in everything the Nigerian youth is doing. It's no longer about in Nigeria, new Nigeria is possible. The new Nigeria is here. It's the Nigerian youth. They are essays, they are TAs, they are everywhere. They're innovators, entrepreneurs, much more than just having hubs. They are stimulators of the new Nigeria. Today, we invite you here at IDICE to enjoy an expression profiling their portraits, their heartbeat, and their swag and ginger. Niger style, youth in creative economy. Enjoy.
My name is Agatha Amata. I'm the MD CEO of Inside Out Media. We own Rave TV, a television station targeted at young people, located in Lagos. Trend 100.9 FM, which is the first private radio station in Asaba Delta State. Rave Films. Then we also have a foundation called the Inside Out with Agatha Foundation, which is an offshoot of, I guess, what I'm most known for, my talk show Inside Out with Agatha, which ran for 21 years across various television stations in Lagos. I had been, as a young person, I was addicted to talk shows. I then wondered at the time why we didn't have any such program on Nigerian television that allowed people air their views. This is a good time to be a creative, whether in the digital space or in the creative space. This is a fantastic time, and this project at this time is welcome. One of the biggest problems that the industry has is the fact that nothing that we use is local. Everything is imported. Our equipment, everything, basically, except the human beings. And even for the human beings, there's a need for training and retraining, because innovations come in every day, things change every day. To be able to have a space where creatives can express themselves, can be properly trained. A lot of the time, the loans don't take into consideration the peculiarity of our profession, which is the fact that we honestly do not start to make money up to 1 to 18 months after the project is completed. And I'm hoping this would address that, because it's been a major problem for us for funding. Even if you look at the digital space, Nigerians are doing great things. All you have to do is just check it out, which means there's the ability. What we need is the equity to be able to stand at par with our counterparts anywhere in the world. Here's what it is. If you take a Nigerian outside the shores of this country, they will excel. So if they're not excelling here, there's a problem here that needs to be fixed. And that's what I'm hoping this fund will do, to fix that problem. It's that simple.
My name is Moses Babatope, co-founder and Group Deputy Managing Director, the Filmhouse Group, owners of Filmhouse Cinemas and Film One Limited. Filmhouse Cinemas is a cinema exhibition company, the largest in West Africa. So the company has come a long way, where we had one cinema in December 2012, and we have 13 cinemas in 7 states as of today, March 2023. So I heard about the program a few months back, and I've been privy to the work of the administration and the presidency on encouraging the creative sector and really spotlighting some of the giant strides that have happened in the sector. And I'm happy that the government is taking active participation and recognizing the inputs of players like ourselves in forging the industry forward. It helps in in formulating plans for, moving this industry forward. I want to see intentionality from launch to execution. I want to see success stories from this program. I want to see a good succession plan. I want to see a way where the established companies like ourselves encouraged that we've been able to stick you through the pains that comes with running a business in this part of the world. I also want a program that gives opportunities to those that don't have access, those that are talented.
Well, the expression from our representatives and voices bringing to us the power of inclusion of creative enterprise and all of the intentionality of their vision, and driving not just their dream, but bringing the dream of a nation to a place of global representation, and of course, increasing the stacks in the favor and flavor of our ginger called Niger economy. I'm using that expression, of course, once again, acknowledging more of the partnerships here. Co-financiers, we have a representative of the Islamic Development Bank from the head Nigeria hub, Dr. Asanul Kibria. Dr. Asanul, you're welcome. Good morning, and we appreciate very much your presence here today. Thank you. And with that expression as well, here today, we want to once again, in acknowledging all of the energy here, welcome to give their own reference intervention for this goodwill in the power of iDice, creative economy and digital technology, the representative of the Honorable Minister of Communications and Digital Economy. We would like to please invite to please come up our MD of Galaxy Backbone, Professor Mohammed Abubakar. Thank you. You're welcome, sir.
Your Excellency, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, GCON, the members of the Federal Executive Council, and members of the steering committee of this very important initiative. The president of the African Development Bank and also other funding bodies, ambassadors here present, the industry captains, media, ladies and gentlemen, and all other protocols respectfully and duly observed. My name is Professor Muhammad Bello Abubakar, and I'm representing the Honorable Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Professor Isa Ali Ibrahim Pantami, who is unavoidably absent. And as a representative, that is just the job I'm going to do, because I cannot be able to wear the shoes he has. So I'm just representing him as it is. And where I'm able to get it right, then it is from him. And where I'm wrong, then it is from me. This particular launching event is truly very apt. That is the launching of the investment in digital, launching of investment in digital and creative enterprises, iDice. It is very apt in the sense that it is operationalizing the start of Act of 2022, recently passed, for the teaming Nigerian youths, which was also championed by the Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy. Second, when we look at the fact that as a nation, and also Africa at large, we missed out the first industrial revolution, likewise the second, and also the third. And now we are in the fourth industrial revolution. The fact that we have missed the first, second, and third subjugated Africans in general to slavery and also underdevelopment. But then we thank God for the fact that this particular fourth industrial revolution is knowledge-based and ICT-driven. And we have, as everybody in the world, the capability to be able to deliver. So we cannot afford to miss out on this particular initiative. Again, the initiative, if you look at the composition of the drivers for this particular initiative, it has conformed to the best practice worldwide. Specifically, is based on the triple helix model that will involve the industry, the government, and also the academia. And this is very, very apt, and definitely it will be able to, the model adopted will be able to carry us and take us to where Nigeria deserves to be placed in the map of the world. Of course, we have the population as it is. Nigeria is now the 5th in the world, and it has been forecasted that maybe by 2030, it's possible that we may be the 3rd in the world. And with a teeming youth population that is expected to reach 75% by 2030. So this population, actually as it is, may not be really a problem if, in fact, it can be actually a catalyst for economic development if we are able to make this particular teeming population productive. It has happened before now, for example, in China. We know China is the first populous nation in the world, and yet it is in the forefront in driving the fourth industrial revolution. So therefore, it is possible that we can be able to also make it. And we can only be able to make it through skills development, and that is what this particular program is all about. So we have the capability to be able to do that. And I will say, congratulations, Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Mohammed Abubakar, the MD of the Galaxy Backbone, and representing the Honorable Minister of Communication and Digital Economy. The fact of the matter today is that the pace of innovation and change is exponential. The ability to communicate seamlessly and in real time at the speed of light is critical to the success of digital and creative enterprises. With IDICE, Nigeria is certainly headed in the right direction. And the launch today is social proof of the collective support for what indeed is a multi-billion-dollar ecosystem. Our next speaker straddles the world of information and culture, two critical important spheres of Nigeria's soft power: the power to inform, the power to shape, the power to promote and build brand Nigeria, and the power to project Nigeria's core values and cultural essence. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming to the podium Alhaji Lai Mohammed, the Honorable Minister of Information and Culture, as he comes forward.
Vice President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, the President of the African Development Bank, members of the Federal Executive Council here present, members of the diplomatic corps, kindly permit me to adopt the already very expertly laid protocol. The launching of IDICE, I think, is very cheering and welcome news to all of us involved in the digital and creative economy. Shortly after the COVID-19 pandemic, we commissioned a survey to actually assess the impact of the pandemic on the creative industry. The report threw up a lot of surprises because hitherto, when people spoke about the creative industry, what came to mind often was our music and our film industry. This report actually revealed that our creative industry goes far beyond the film and the creative industry, and also that it is actually the backbone of the economy. I just want to share briefly some of the highlights of the outcome of these results so that when this fund is being administered, we will know exactly where to put how much. The hospitality and events and tourism industry in Nigeria, our reports show that the revenue from this industry annually is about 1.2 trillion naira, and that it distributed largely in Lagos, and that there are about 20,000 events annually, where about 500 books are published annually, and Nigeria is currently importing about 2 million metric tons of papers valued at about 720 billion naira. And about 3,000 businesses and 15,000 active practitioners in writing, printing, and publishing. Comedy, dance, and performing arts, this generates about 17 billion naira annually. And comedy alone accounts for about 2 billion naira out of this, with hundreds of skits produced weekly. Art, design, and photography generates about 250 billion naira annually. And practitioners are mostly sole practitioners, sole proprietors with staff strength of less than 10 people. Surprisingly, fashion generates about 2 trillion naira annually. About 150,000 pieces of clothing are distributed and sold nationally every month in Nigeria. There are about 1,000 businesses and about 30,000 active practitioners and direct jobs, including models, designers, ashwabi merchants, jewelry, and leatherworks. Hair and beauty, again, generates about 1.52 trillion naira annually. About 30,000 pieces of hair and beauty products are sold
and distributed every month in Nigeria. About 20,000 businesses and about 200,000 people practice this in this sector. Social media has massively enhanced this sector. Now, I've gone through this very short summary to let us know that when we talk about the creative industry in Nigeria, it's not just only music and film, but it comprises, other sectors such as advertising, such as hospitality, such as writing, such as comedy, such as photography, fashion, hair and beauty, etc. And that while music and the film industry have combined to put Nigeria's name on the world map, but in terms of revenue generation, fashion generates 2 trillion naira, 2 trillion against music's 300 billion. Hair and beauty generates 1.52 trillion against the film's 140 billion. So and then in terms of job creation, the hospitality industry alone employs over 4 million people. So I hope that when we start administering this fund, we'll look at these figures, and I'm very glad and happy to share this document with the Advisory Council. I thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Another round of applause, please. Let's appreciate Alhaji Lai Mohammed, Honorable Minister for Information and Culture. Well, the numbers don't just drive economy. They drive the power of reimagining economy, restructuring, repurposing, redefining, but most importantly, re-innovating, both in terms of the investment and the outline of the profile of those different conglomerate sectors. It is clear, from billions to trillions to quintillions, because without any question, we will be counting in numbers and currencies that far exceed what we are asking or thinking at this very humble figure of a total program budget of presently $618 million. Well, it's not just about dollarizing it, it's about giving it the imagination and the impetus of a very disruptive, deliberate, intentional will by our youth and by government and stakeholders to make this a more defined investment for digital economy as well as creative definitions. We'd now like to invite to please come up for his goodwill the distinguished Senator Adeleke Mamura, Honorable Minister of Science, Technology, and Innovation. Sir, let's welcome him as he comes up. May I respectfully ask for a more robust applause as we welcome the Honorable Minister. Thank you. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you very much. Mr. Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Mr. Vice President, as you know, it's usual for me to recognize and acknowledge your presence in triple fashion. Vice Presidentially, because you are Vice President. I also recognize that as a professor, professorial presence, and as a pastor, pastorally as well. So, colleagues in the Council, Federal Executive Council here present, permit me at this juncture to say I align myself with other protocols already established. I am delighted to be a participant at this official launch of the Investment in Digital and Creative Enterprises Program. As a member of the steering committee, I am excited to witness the culmination of years of hard work, dedication, and collaboration between the Federal Government of Nigeria team and all our partners, especially the African Development Bank Group. Since the journey began in 2019, with the objective to support the government's agenda, which seeks to create more and sustainable jobs during and post-COVID-19 pandemic. Dr. Deshina, thank you very much for what you have done in this regard. The Investment in Digital and Creative Enterprises program, IDICE, represents a significant venture into the digital and creative sectors, which are vital sectors to our economy. We recognize the immense potential of these sectors to create more jobs through brilliant innovations and application of scientific knowledge and technologies to drive economic growth. I am proud to know that the establishment of IDICE is a deliberate effort and commitment of the government and all the partners in supporting entrepreneurs and businesses in these fields and ultimately contributing to sustainable national economy. The Federal Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation, through the provisions of the Executive Order Number 5 and the National Policy of Science, Technology and Innovation, will continue to collaborate with the Technology and Creativity Advisory Group domiciled at the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment to drive home government commitment to the investment in digital creativity to diversify Nigeria's economy. IDICE program furthermore represents an essential platform and a strategic tool suited for providing targeted funding, training, and mentorship, among others, to entrepreneurs and startups in the digital innovation and creative sectors, thus helping them to grow and scale up their businesses, resulting in numerous advantages to our national economy. The outcomes of the program in the past few years also indicate the aptness fostering a vibrant globalized ecosystem that encourages innovation, collaboration, and entrepreneurship in many other fields. I would like to seize this opportunity to thank all partners for their support and collaboration in making IDICE a reality. Your expertise, resources, and commitment to the digital and creative industries have been invaluable in shaping this initiative, and we look forward to continuing our partnership with you. To the entrepreneurs and startups who will benefit from this program, I encourage you to take advantage of this opportunity and make the most of the resources and support made available to you through IDICE. Your passion, creativity, and drive are essential to the success of this program, and we eagerly await innovation and of course, solutions and businesses that will emerge from this initiative. In closing,
hi, my name is Tayo Viosu. I am the founder and group CEO of Paga. Paga is a mobile payment service here in Nigeria that is focused on making it simple for individuals or businesses to send money, make payments, and bank digitally. We are the largest mobile payment service here in Nigeria with now over 21 million users and a network of 140,000 plus agent points across Nigeria, whether that is to send money to a bank account, to withdraw money from their bank, to pay their bills, or to access other financial services. So my journey into Paga, or to set up the company, really started out of my own frustration carrying cash everywhere with me in Nigeria. I had moved back to Nigeria in 2008 with a strong desire to be part of the economic redevelopment of Nigeria. And when I got back from the US, I found myself banked with 2 banks, but still having to carry cash everywhere with me. And so the vision for Paga is a cashless world where everything can be done digitally, whether it's on a mobile phone or your smartwatch or any device where you can transfer money. One of the books that I really enjoyed reading in terms of entrepreneurs and memoirs was Shoe Dog by Phil Knight. You know, and if you think about the fact that Nike today will not exist if he could not get a loan from one of his banks that actually gave him the working capital, $1 million, right? Working capital he needed to really build that business. And I think that, you know, we need to get to a place where the average Nigerian can get that kind of a loan, right? That have proven themselves and can get that kind of a loan to actually drive and build a business. The biggest change I think I would want to see is just funding for the creative and tech industries, right? Whether that is debt funding or equity funding. I hope this program would also help lead our pension funds in Nigeria even to start thinking about venture capital, right? So anything that is really about driving capital, access to capital locally. If you look at China or India, they are no longer raising money from, you know, just outside of their country. They're raising capital locally, and we need Nigeria to get to that kind of a place where, whether it's debt capital or equity capital, we're doing it locally.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I think we can do a whole lot better there. A warm round of applause for Nigeria's innovative, dynamic, digital disruptors and innovators. Again, they shine the light on what is potentially possible in Nigeria. Now, if there's one thing that is evident from the program so far, it is the fact that this is a complex, multipolar, integrated, and complementary ecosystem. One that brings together key players in communication, information science, tech, culture, innovation, and the creative arts. And it really is to the credit of the federal government of Nigeria's convening power that structure, strategic essence, and support has been breathed into this critical ecosystem. That structure and support is why leaders of some of the world's leading development finance institutions are here today, not as onlookers, but as visionary leaders who have seen the future long before it has arrived. As co-financiers, they have voted with their checkbooks and provided much-needed financial resources that have made the IDICE initiative a strategic reality. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, under the patronage of the French Embassy in Abuja, the Agence Française de Développement, ADF, a key IDICE co-partner, executes its mandate and establishes a tangible economic and financial footprint in the country. To provide brief remarks on behalf of the French delegation, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the podium the ambassador to Nigeria, the French ambassador to Nigeria, Her Excellency, Mrs. Emmanuela Blattman. Thank you for being with us here today.
Your Excellency, honorable ministers, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, please allow me to stand on the well-established protocol. I'm truly delighted to be here today and to represent, as well as my government, the French Agency for Development, for the launch of this very ambitious and exciting IDICE program. France is proud to support this program, which aims to promote entrepreneurship and innovation in the digital technology and creative industries. As already stated by the distinguished speakers, the IDICE program, co-financed by the French Development Agency, the African Development Bank, Islamic Development Bank, and the Bank of Industry, is designed to support the young Nigerian entrepreneurs and innovators who are driving these industries forward. And why are we so enthusiastic about this program? It's because the sectors involved tick so many boxes. Nigeria's creative industries employ already 4.2 million people and are expected to employ 2.7 million more by 2025. The ICT sector has also contributed, 16.22% to Nigeria's GDP at the last quarter of 2022, which makes it one of the largest sectors in the Nigerian economy. So we strongly believe that digital technology and creative industries have enormous potential to create jobs and spur economic growth in Africa in general, and in Nigeria in particular, where so many talents can be found. And this is why His Excellency President Emmanuel Macron, when he set the basis for the new partnership between France and the African continent at the beginning of his first mandate in 2017, set one as his main priorities for the creative industries and technology. Going forward, in 2021, culture, entrepreneurship, and innovation were amongst the main sectors of the new summit, Africa-France Summit. And more recently, actually just 2 weeks ago, last month, before he was launching a new tour in Africa, my president reaffirmed his commitment for cooperation in creative industries and announced the launch announced the organization of a forum on African cultural and creative industries in the fall this year. For the past 5 years, through different programs, France has really increased its actions to develop collaboration between Nigerian and French actors in the innovative sector for programs such as Digital Africa that benefited to so many Nigerian startups, hubs, or innovation centers, but also in the industries of film, animation, fashion, music, video games, visual arts, and industries, and even in esports, which is a new sector we're investing in, and it's very promising. What have we done? We've set up partnerships, trainings, vocational trainings, funded through different ways, French Agency for Development, of course, but also the French Ministry for Foreign Affairs. In parallel, the AFD has also increased its vocational training actions as a major tool to foster youth employability. Indeed, currently the higher education system is can only absorb a limited number of students per year, leaving out, unfortunately, a large number of potential applicants from primary and secondary schools. So, and IFD has also supports Nigeria's national development plan and its target of creating 21 million full-time jobs by 2025. And France, through the AFD-supported programs, wishes to support this objective by focusing on the development of vocational training offers in sectors with high added value, with high value addition, in particular creative industries and digital. So through this specific 100 million euros funding, financial contribution to the IDICE program, we aim to develop the skills and entrepreneurship of young people through the implementation of training courses within existing institutions and platforms. The target is to train 2 million young people and ensure a reduction of unemployment, especially for women, with at least 50% of young women in the trainings. So from basic to advanced skills, this will allow the young Nigerians to have access to a large choice of trainings that will help them enter the job market. It will also help, remove social infrastructure and regulatory barriers to the development of creative and digital sectors and finance startups and companies in these sectors. Finally, allow me, Your Excellency, to once again say how much we are excited about the potential of the IDICE program to create our belief that it will create new opportunities for young Nigerians. And we are proud to be working with our co-financier partners to ensure the success of this program and to create a brighter future for all the great Nigerian youth. That's great. Thank you very much for your attention.
Oui, madame. Great Nigerian youth and a great message by a great ambassador. Please let's appreciate Madam Ambassador, French Ambassador to Nigeria, Madam Emanuela Blattman. Thank you for those goodwill expressions, but more importantly, also the very clearly articulated intentionality that comes with this goodwill message. And as a messenger of that innovative change and intervention, not just for the industry and the sector, but looking also at different agendas and the tracks. This year for the International Women's Day, it was all about digital, and for every woman becoming a reference point and a trigger for a digital economy as a global representation from wherever they are. So thank you very much, Madam Emanuela Blattman. Today, the Startup Act in Nigeria is one that defines for Africa the intentionality not just of government, but indeed of the demographic of Nigerian youth to take hold of the power of their purpose, their innovation, their ideas, but most importantly, their clarity for leadership. We have with us a full cluster of those startup ambassadors. I'd like to acknowledge Tracy Okoro Isaac, founder of the Business Africa Academy, an EdTech platform simplifying access to learning resources for individuals, businesses, and organizations in both the digital and creative sector. She's also the state adoption lead of the Nigeria Startup Act. Tracy, let's see you and let's celebrate you. Thank you. She's the lady in the red trouser suit in the room. Along with her, our other startup ambassadors, Nonso Bassi, Wild Imaginations. Please let's see you and celebrate you. Thank you. Nonso Bassi of Wild Imaginations. Mohammed Nasidu Al-Mansur of Well Rika. Celebrating you. Igwe Uguru Chuya. Igwe Uguru? Well, I have the name Igwe Uguru. And we have Kasley Edna Medbase. Kasley Edna. Please, a celebration of Medbase. Fola Oladende Lagbaja Mobile. And Runo Obafemi of Better Care. Well, maybe we could call it Better Care, but in Nigeria we have a way we give the enunciations, better care for better care when it comes to all of the gradient of the innovation and enterprise of Nigerian youth. For those who are here in this room, it is clearly not just an opportunity, but a platform for all to engage. Thank you very much for being here. And we're now going to be inviting another personality. He's already been introduced as Africa's OIC Optimist in Charge of Dreams and Reimagining the power of our purpose, not just as Africans, as global leaders, not just as Nigerians for Nigeria, but more importantly, as a very stipulate matrix for changing our world referendums when it comes to the power of our imagination. He drives dreams, he drives institutions, he drives systems, and he has driven economy. All throughout Africa, he is a globally renowned economist. He is, for decades, a player in the strategic role and mapping and shaping of our African narrative, not just as a narrative, but as a narrator and an actor of those polydynamics when it comes to economic representations. Transformative development change. He is a celebrated transformer. Please join me. Let us welcome Africa's Optimist in Chief, President of the African Development Bank, for his own intervention for this dice, roll the dice, for creative economy and digital technology, Nigerian youth, Dr. Adeomi Adesina. Congratulations, Mr. President.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Good afternoon, everybody. I can't hear you, though. Your Excellency, my dear brother, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the Honorable Minister of Finance, Budget, and National Planning, my sister and the Governor of the African Development Bank Group from Nigeria, Dr. Mrs. Zainab Ahmed, the Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Otunba Adeniyi Adebayo, the Honorable Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Professor Issa Ali Pantami, the Honorable Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, the Honorable Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation, Senator Adeleke Mamora, Your Excellencies, Ambassadors, et Madame l'Ambassadeur de France, merci pour être là ce matin. The President of the Islamic Development Bank, Dr. Mohamed Al-Jassam, the Deputy Chief of Staff of the President, the Chief Executive Officer of the Agence Française de Développement, my brother Remy Rio, the Chief Executive Officer of the Bank of Industry, Olukayode Piton, Director Generals, Executive Secretaries, and heads of government agencies, the Executive Director of Nigeria for the African Development Bank Group, and let me also recognize the Executive Director of Nigeria to the African Development Bank Group, Oyetunde Oyebode. Where are you, Idi Oyebode? If you're here, please welcome. Thank you for your support. The Director Generals of the Agence Française de Développement and Islamic Development Bank here. And let me turn to the people we are celebrating today. If you're a young entrepreneur here, we're here not because of ourselves, we're here because of you. Please stand and celebrate yourself and get excited about your future. That's good. Thank you. Young business leaders of Nigeria, young entrepreneurs, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I am absolutely delighted to be able to join you today for the official launch of the Investment in Digital and Creative Enterprises, IDICE. I wish to commend the federal government of Nigeria for this initiative. The initiative is timely, strategic, and transformative, as it will build the ecosystems to support more competitive entrepreneurs powered by digital technologies. I am very proud that the African Development Bank Group is also partnering in leading in this initiative, which has the potential to generate millions of jobs for Nigeria's youth. The urgency of leveraging in implementation of IDIs for sustainable job creation and economic transformation is now. With over 70% of Nigeria's population under the age of 30, Nigeria has one of the greatest assets in the world. Some will call this a challenge to be managed. I call it an opportunity to be unleashed. It's time to do things differently. Yes, we gather to launch this initiative, but what we are really launching is more than this initiative. We are launching hope for the youth. We are launching platforms that will enhance the ability and capacity of Nigeria's youth to thrive. We are launching the creation of millions of jobs. We are retooling Nigeria to be more competitive in an increasingly digital world. We are creating hope for a new Nigeria driven by the power of the youth. What Nigeria does with its youthful population will determine the future of Nigeria. Its future in terms of first-rate education to make them competitive. Its future in terms of skills to fill the jobs today and create jobs of tomorrow. Its future in turning its dynamic, talented, and entrepreneurial youth into revenue assets. It is time to create youth-based wealth for Nigeria. Youth-based wealth will rapidly expand the creation of jobs, expand the fiscal space with new sources of taxes, and support a more inclusive Nigerian economy now and well into the future. That is why, shortly after I was elected president of the African Development Bank Group, we launched the Jobs for Youth in Africa strategy. We project that the program will create 25 million new jobs by 2026 that focus on practical and high-impact solutions. We are making already great strides. From 2016 to 2021, the African Development Bank supported the creation of over 12 million jobs, 3.1 million of which were direct and 9 million indirect. This has been made possible through our high employment impact operations and special initiatives in key sectors such as agriculture, infrastructure, energy, and financial sectors, as well as digital and creative industries that we are talking about today. Additionally, ladies and gentlemen, the bank's Coding for Employment program has provided on-site centers and digital training platforms that have equipped 23,200 youth from 45 countries with skills needed to succeed in a digital global market. We have invested close to $2 billion in 37 tech companies to improve national and regional broadband infrastructure and foster private investment and support digital enterprises. The African Development Bank is currently designing and will soon roll out youth entrepreneurship investment banks. They will be new financial institutions that will build robust financial ecosystems around the businesses of young people all across Africa. That is why we like IDIs, Mr. Vice President. It is visionary. It sees the future and prepares Nigeria for it. That future is here. Every aspect of life is being transformed digitally. Think of digital financial services for money transfers, payments, banking, and insurance, and we're just listening to Paga. Think of e-health with rapid growth of digital platforms that aggregate services for medical doctors, pharmacists, and diagnosis service providers. Think of e-government for better and more accessible service delivery to citizens. Think of education with digital platforms that connect teachers, tutors, and delivers open digital curriculum for enhanced and easily accessible learning for students. When you think digital, think global. It is estimated that the size of digital global health will expand from $217 billion in 2022 to over $1 trillion by 2031, just around the corner, an incredible growth. The size of Africa's digital economy will rise from $115 billion today to $712 billion by 2050. Now, most of that growth is already being driven by 4 countries, led by Nigeria. I thought you'd clap for Nigeria now. South Africa, Kenya, and Egypt. The expansion of the digital economy is driven by several factors, including the rapid growth in the youth population, the ubiquitous nature of access to mobile phones, especially smartphones, increasing investments in supportive digital infrastructure, and the spark in digital entrepreneurship and innovations during the economic challenges imposed by COVID-19 pandemic. These digital trends hold great promise to help create massive number of jobs. For example, estimates by Endeavor 2022 show that expanding digital infrastructure by just 10% will lead to a 2.5% annual growth in GDP in Africa. Furthermore, expanding access to internet in Africa from the current level of 33% to 75% will help to create 45 million jobs, including 3 million jobs in online services by 2025. Wow, that's amazing. We are already in Nigeria witnessing the power of digital technologies, tools, and platforms. Nigeria currently has 5 out of the 11 digital companies that have reached the status of unicorn with market valuation of $1 billion. Come on, guys. Names that come to mind include Jumia, InterSwitch, OPay, Flutterwave, and Andela, mainly in the fintech space. Now, if you traveled around Nigeria, you know that transport is a big problem. Nigeria's poor and fragmented cargo transport system is getting transformed gradually by young people, thanks to Kobo 360, a digital platform launched by 2 young Nigerians, Obi Ozo and Ife Oyedele. It is incredible that between 2018 and 2020, Kobo 360 has connected 50,000 trucks and 50,000 truck drivers and helped to freight goods worth $200 billion. Wow. I'm proud of Nigeria. I am proud of Nigeria, and I am proud of Nigeria. The creative industry in Nigeria is growing rapidly, we heard from the minister. In line with similar trends in Africa, the creative industry in Africa generated over $14 billion in revenue annually between 2015 and 2018, and is projected to create close to 3 million jobs by 2025. Nigeria, of course, has yet to fully tap and unleash the power of its creative industry, which still needs efforts to promote content creators, supportive infrastructure, access to financing for the film, for the media, for the fashion, for visual arts, tourism, hospitality, and entertainment industries. Your Excellency, Mr. Vice President, the IDICE program will help to fill some of these critical gaps by supporting enterprise and skills development, access to demand-driven digital and creative skills, entrepreneurship skills, ICT-enabled infrastructure, as well as expanding access to finance. The African Development Bank is pleased to partner with the federal government of Nigeria on this $618 million IDICE program. The African Development Bank is providing $170 million in financing towards this program. I am delighted that we are able to mobilize additional co-financing of $270 million towards this program. Let me thank our partners, the Agence Française de Développement, for providing $106 million. The Islamic Development Bank for providing $70 million. The Bank of Industry and the federal government of Nigeria for providing $45 million in counterpart funding. Through independent fund managers, and that's what makes this very unique. It's not going to be managed in the ministry. It's going to be managed by independent fund managers. They will raise an additional $131 million to $262 million. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, the IDICE program is set to be a real game changer. It will help to create 6.1 million direct and indirect jobs and equip more than 175,000 young people with technology and creative skills needed to drive innovation and foster entrepreneurship. And to start with, IDICE will support 451 digital technology startups, 226 creative enterprises, and 75 enterprise support organizations. And the Minister of Finance is here. I'm sure you're going to be quite excited that this program will add $6.4 billion to Nigeria's economy. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I would like now to express my profound appreciation to the federal government of Nigeria for its unwavering commitment to the IDICE program. His Excellency, President Muhammadu Buhari, showed personal endorsement for this program in June 2022 with its manifestation of high political ownership of Nigeria's innovation agenda. Thank you, Mr. President. I would also like to highly commend the dynamic leadership of the Steering Committee of the Advisory Council on Innovation and Creativity, chaired by His Excellency, Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo, that has spearheaded the design of IDICE. The enactment of the Startup Act in October 2022 provides a strong boost to the federal government of Nigeria's efforts to enhance the enabling environment for the development of the startups in Nigeria, as well as position Nigeria as Africa's leading digital technology center. Thank you, Your Excellency, Mr. Vice President, my dear brother, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, for your exceptional leadership and foresight in shaping the design of the IDICE program. Now, there are many things you will be remembered for, and I know that your term and that of His Excellency the President would soon be coming to an end. I had a great opportunity to show my appreciation to His Excellency the President in Dakar, where we had the Feed Africa Summit. At that Feed Africa Summit, we were able to mobilize. Actually, when we were there, we did $36 billion. But as of today, we have mobilized $52 billion towards that effort to feed Africa. His Excellency, President Muhammadu Buhari was there. And since I knew that was my last time, I will have the opportunity to thank him for his support for me, for his great support to the African Development Bank. I decided there to be a soldier. The Minister of Finance was there. I gave myself the title of general, and I had the chance to be able to salute him for that. And I didn't go to NDA, but I'm a Nigerian, so I could salute him for it. So thank you, Mr. President. But today, I want to thank you, my dear brother, Mr. Vice President. You have been an amazing leader in our nation. You've been very focused. You've been very determined. You've been very entrepreneurial. You've been very driven with one focus: how to make things better. As your time ends, may God be with you and guide you for whatever lies ahead of you. Thank you, Mr. Vice President. with the IDIs, President Buhari, yourself, Your Excellency, Mr. Vice President, and the entire federal government can take pride because you will leave behind a legacy for the future growth and dominance of Nigeria in the digital and creative industries in Africa and globally. Together, therefore, let's use IDIs to unleash an ecosystem that will drive the emergence of a more dynamic and competitive youth entrepreneurs from Nigeria. Let us unleash the world-creating potential of the digital and creative industries. Let us foster the emergence of a stronger Nigeria, a Nigeria built on the dynamism and the creativity of its young people. Let us bring the future of the youth into the present. May God bless Nigeria. May God bless you, and thank you very much.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is not for nothing that Dr. Adesina is often referred to as Africa's optimist in chief. His passion, his creativity, his innovation, his strategic vision, and his commitment to a better Africa, and indeed to a better Nigeria, is what keeps him awake every single night, focused on realistic and impactful solutions rather than the futility of problems just for their sake. Ladies and gentlemen, kindly give Dr. Adesina one more time a warm round of applause. Thank you for your incredible leadership at the African Development Bank and across Africa. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, ultimately, investments are the backbone of economic growth, and money is the lifeblood of investment. So in today's dynamic global financial landscape, the symbiotic relationship between money and investment has never been more critical than it is today. At a sovereign level, shepherding this symbiotic relationship is Dr. Zainab Shamsuna Ahmed, the Honorable Minister for Finance, Budget, and National Planning. In this capacity, she also serves as the Governor representing Nigeria at the African Development Bank Group. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to Dr. Zainab Ahmed as she comes to the podium. Thank you very much.
Your Excellency, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, my brother, President Akinwumi Adesina, my colleagues in the Cabinet, honorable ministers that are here today, heads of diplomatic missions, and then our co-financiers, the Islamic Development Bank, represented today by the regional head in Abuja and AFD. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot that has been said today by the IDIS program, but I want to just step back and say, for this $618 million program, that it is a borrowing. And there has been a lot of sensitivity nationally about Nigerians borrowing. But His Excellency the Vice President has led us, and we are all convinced that this is a facility that is worthwhile going ahead with. Why? Because it's going to unlock a lot of value. And also, this time around, we're not just borrowing from the African Development Bank and the Islamic Development Bank and the AFD. We are also putting our money where our mouth is by providing $45 billion as a grant to the Bank of Industry to be the executing agencies. His Excellency the President and His Excellency the Vice President understand the opportunities that can be unlocked through the implementation of the IDICE program. The IDICE program will provide a boost to the startup bill that was passed into law last year. This program will be addressing some of the major challenges that we have. So, okay, large youth population, some people say is a challenge. We normally say it's an opportunity because the greatest assets that we have today in Nigeria is actually our youths. Also, another challenge is a large pool of unemployed persons. About 40% of the population today are unemployed. So this IDICE will be contributing greatly towards addressing these challenges. IDICE provides us an opportunity to upskill our youths. We have youths that are vibrant, entrepreneurial, technology savvy. This program will provide them investment capital, borrowing to enhance and grow their businesses. And also, it will help to upskill our youths to enable them to access newer, higher value jobs. Because when you have skills today, it's not the certificates that get you the jobs these days, it's actually your skills. So that enhancement of skills is what will give you those higher value jobs. This financing will also enable us to provide capital as well as loans through the Bank of Industry under the IDICE program to micro, small, and medium enterprises for the purpose of additional technology and innovation into their businesses. These businesses that are the backbone of the Nigerian economy, employing about 80% of the population, and also contributing a large proportion to our GDP, will be able to grow and employ more people and also provide better service into the economy. The impact of the IDICE program will be also includes attracting new investments to these new businesses and also the expanded businesses that we are sure will arise from the deployment of the IDICE facility. There will be investors that will be attracted to Nigerian businesses and bring in new capital to add to the existing investments that Nigerian businesses have put in place. There will also be higher value jobs, so jobs where people can earn much more, working either for themselves as entrepreneurs or working digitally, in fact, working virtually, providing services to other parts of the world. Another impact for us is also the boost that we'll get in terms of our economic growth. As my brother has said, one of the main benefits for us and why we're strongly standing behind this is, for us it's already evident that the information and technology sector is a very large contributor to the Nigerian GDP. This IDICE program will give a further boost to that sector, enabling more contribution of the sector to the Nigerian economy. We will again also end up with maybe more unicorns, not maybe, we will end up with more unicorns from Nigeria added to the global market. So this IDICE program that has already been described eloquently by previous speakers is a program that has three components. There's an entrepreneurial skills development, there's the expanding access to finance, enabling, and then there's the enabling environment and institutional support. So some of our agencies also would benefit from enhanced skills from this program. A total package is $618 million. The interesting component of this financing is that there will be up to $200 million that will be leveraged from private equity to add to what these three financial institutions have brought to the table to enable us expand innovation and digital technology in our country. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the governance structure that has been set up to ensure the success of this program, to ensure transparency and accountability of the program, to ensure inclusiveness of the program is chaired by His Excellency the Vice President. I and my colleagues that are here today are members of that steering committee, and our role will be to ensure that the design of the program is diligently complied with and consistently delivered upon. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, let's roll the dice. Good afternoon.
Thank you very much for your kind remarks, Dr. Zainab Shamsuna Ahmed. Many times, ladies and gentlemen, when history is being made, it is often said that we do not recognize that history is actually in the making. I am confident that today will be a historic footprint in the annals of Nigeria. So I just want you to mark today. This launch is a pivotal moment in the history of Nigeria. It is not just a launch, it is a historic moment. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure to introduce and welcome our exceptionally distinguished keynote speaker today, His Excellency Professor Yemi Osinbajo. From the inception of IDICE until today, he has been the driving force in the development of this strategic integrated ecosystem. Under his leadership, he has helped establish Nigeria as a global digital hub and as a regional powerhouse in technology and the creative industries. His deep-rooted passion and commitment have enabled Nigeria to quickly navigate the vast digital landscape that is before us. The government's policies and initiatives have indeed created an enabling environment for young entrepreneurs, for creatives, for innovative types to prosper and to live out their dreams. We are thrilled, therefore, to have the Vice President with us today. Please join me in extending a collective, heartfelt welcome to His Excellency, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, as he takes the podium to deliver his keynote address. And once he is done, he will rise to the upper level of the platform, where he will be joined by the distinguished chairs in front of us. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warmer welcome to His Excellency, the Vice President of Nigeria. Thank you, Excellency.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Please sit. The President of the African Development Bank, my dear brother, Chief, Optimist in Chief of Africa, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina. Honorable Ministers present, our funding partners, the African Development Bank, the Islamic Development Bank, the Agence Française de Développement, Your Excellencies of the Diplomatic Corps, especially the French Ambassador to Nigeria, Madame Emmanuelle Blackman, all our young entrepreneurs and innovators that are present here today, the resident representative of the UNDP in Nigeria, Mr. Mo Yahya, all heads of government agencies, parastatals, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. What an exciting moment this is. And after nearly 5 years of work with some of the most patriotic Africans and African institutions, and several in the local technology and entertainment ecosystem, we arrive at the launch of the IDICE program, the Investment in Digital and Creative Enterprises program. As you've all heard, the program is a government initiative to promote innovation and entrepreneurship in the digital technology and creative industries, and especially targeted at job creation. What you may not have been told is the incredible effort that Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, President of the FDP, put into this to make it happen. The thinking around this came from a discussion he and I had in 2018, I think it was in South Africa, on how to leverage technology and industry for jobs for young people. And he told me at the time that the AFDB was already thinking along the lines of committing some funding to some iteration of the idea. The fruit of that discussion and the hard work of many is what we witness here today. The fund, as we've been told, is $618 million, out of which the AFDB provides $170 million. The Agence Française de Développement provides $100 million, and the Islamic Development Bank will provide $70 million in co-financing. The BOI, who represents the federal government, will provide $45 million as a counterpart contribution to be availed through loans for qualifying startups. And as we've heard from the president of the AFDB, we expect by leveraging this fund, another maybe $270 million from private sector and institutional investors. I think it's important to mention that private capital has usually been ahead of government effort. And I think the private sector ought to be commended for being so innovative, especially here in Nigeria. The last few years, we've seen a consistent rise in venture capital investments in Nigeria's technology ecosystem in particular. For example, I think it was the Disrupt Africa's 2022 Tech Funding Report, which says that Nigeria was the best funded country in Africa for the second year running, with a minimum of 180 startups, making approximately 30% of Africa's funded ventures and raising approximately $1 billion, substantially ahead of all other countries on the continent on both counts. This influx of private capital has enabled startups to expand operations and create new jobs while contributing significantly towards our own GDP growth. There are, of course, thousands of startups that have used private funds or debt that goes unrecorded, and I think they probably constitute the majority in our country. I think it's now imperative to commence a coordinated approach towards innovation on the continent, bringing together all stakeholders to coordinate efforts at scaling up investments and building programs that provide the right enabling environment and produce talent pipelines that support the growth of innovation on the continent. But we must even do more. Government must provide more support for startups and small businesses, and investors must provide more funding. This is why the Investment in Digital and Creative Enterprises program is important. It brings together the public sector and our development partners, the AFDB, as you've heard, the Islamic Development Bank, the French Development Agency, to design a program that supports innovation access across critical pillars, including policy infrastructure, access to finance, and talent. These pillars have been identified as being critical to the growth and sustenance of innovation on the continent. As a government, we have sought to provide support to the innovation ecosystem over the last 8 years. In 2018, we established the Technology and Creativity Advisory Group, and the advisory group brings together stakeholders in the technology and creative industries to contribute directly to policy formulation, articulation, and design of the technology and creative sectors of our economy. As part of the work of the advisory group, which has the Honorable Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, the Honorable Minister of Finance, the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investments, and the Minister of Information and Culture. As members, the group has influenced various government policies for the growth of the economy. For instance, the Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy, working with NITIA, has established a Center for Artificial Intelligence and Robotics. The ministry has also led the coordination of our partnership with Microsoft to increase Nigeria's technology talent pipeline by training 5 million Nigerians in various technology skills. Just last October, the President signed Nigeria's startup bill into law, making it the Nigeria Startup Act, the act that now provides a legal and institutional framework for the development of startups in Nigeria, and also provides an enabling environment for growth of startups in the country. One key area of government support is funding, venture capital funds to provide seed and early stage funding to technology startups. For example, the government set up the Nigeria Investment Growth Fund to provide funding and technical assistance to startups in the country. The Bank of Industry also has a 1 billion, I think it's a 10 billion fund, Nollywood Fund, or Nolly Fund as it's called, to support film production. And we have recently upgraded and renovated the National Theatre, positioning it to become Africa's creative hub. Similarly, as chairman of the National Economic Council, I've engaged with the state governments on issues of expanding access to broadband infrastructure in Nigeria. Through these engagements, many state governments have worked with us in various capacities, including by reducing and harmonizing the cost of provision and also the cost of right-of-way in their own states. Just last week, as part of this continuing engagement, Osun State has waived the right-of-way charges for fiber infrastructure in the state, joining a host of other states that have done the same or reduced their fees significantly. This would, of course, in the near future, bring down the cost of providing broadband infrastructure in individual states and increase access to broadband, which, of course, is critical for the growth of a digital economy. With regard to the creative industry, the federal government has also taken action to include the sector amongst those that could benefit from the government's pioneer status. So today, any entertainment company can benefit from pioneer status. In other words, it has several tax breaks, tax holidays when it starts, when they start their businesses. And of course, some of these incentives, especially fiscal incentives, can still be negotiated. Efforts are also underway to tackle piracy in terms of intellectual property and copyright, and to secure financial resources to support the sector, and also to enable the building of required infrastructural facilities. So the iDice program, as we've heard, will be oversighted by the BOI, the Bank of Industry, and supported by our partners here today. And those partners, as you have heard already, are AFDB, Islamic Development Bank, and the French Development Agency. Microsoft also, as part of our partnership, signed in 2020, has also committed to supporting the program with technical assistance, knowledge sharing, and capacity building, and particularly focusing on the talent pipeline. So again, I'd like to thank Microsoft for being there for us practically all the time. I believe that over the tenure of this program, we'll see significant additional support and investments from other partners and stakeholders across the sectors, leading to an increase in the growth of startups and, of course, the growth of unicorns, new unicorns, and training more talent on the continent. Thank you all very much for listening.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vice President. Your Excellency, if you could just kindly rise to the top of the podium. Thank you for those remarks as you're joined by the distinguished guests in the front row for the official unveiling of the iDice logo. Gentlemen and distinguished ladies, kindly take to the podium. Could we also have the EU rep and the ISDB rep please kindly come to the podium? UNDP, EU, and the Islamic Development Bank, please. Microsoft also? Rather. Okay, I do apologize here. Let's quickly improvise here and come up with a microphone for His Excellency the Vice President. That was a faux pas of the head and not of the heart. Yes.
Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it now is my very special pleasure not to roll the dice yet, but to officially unveil the logo of the Investment in Digital and Creative Enterprises program, the IDICE program, for the benefit of the people of Nigeria, the people of Africa and the world, and the glory of the Almighty God.
Thank you very much. It's a celebration. Can we please put our hands together? Respectfully, we are asked that please, as many of, with His Excellency that gave the goodwill message, could you please just stand with him? Those who gave the goodwill message in particular, to please stand with His Excellency, Mr. President, while the rest of our distinguished VIPs, please just... No. Okay, immediately after this, members of the technical committee, thank you. Thank you very much. Members of the technical committee, with His Excellency, thank you. And then...
Could we kindly flank the logo, please? Can we flank the logo, please? Okay, since it's being moved out, then we'll use the backdrop. Members of the technical committee, could you please line up and get ready to come on the platform immediately after this session? Members of the technical committee, could you please join the party on the platform? Could we kindly move backwards, please?
And just after this, members of the diplomatic community exclusively. Thank you. Diplomatic community exclusively. Thank you. Diplomatic community, please come forward and take this picture.
Could members of the technical committee please take your seats? Thank you very much.
And inviting to come up members of the diplomatic community. Thank you. And then the youth startup-preneurs, where are you? Startup ambassadors-preneurs, please, very quickly, could you come forward? Please, immediately after the diplomatic corps. Please. Please, very quickly, thank you.
Members of the diplomatic corps are up on the podium right now, and they will be followed by the youth.
The youth. The youth, thank you. The youth startup, thank you.
And disruptors.
Our startup team lead, Madam Tracy, please, could you please come forward? Thank you. The Startup Act team.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What is this?
Sir.
Starter back team, please. Thank you. And then we understand the partners.
We would like our young digital entrepreneurs to join the podium very quickly.
Okay.
After which we will be followed, Daya, just a second. We will be followed immediately after this session with a group photograph of His Excellency the Vice President and the co-funding partners.
I don't know, this photograph, does it work?
That's fine, that's fine, that's fine. Could we flank His Excellency the Vice President, please? Thank you very much. In 5, 4. Okay, thank you very much.
I'm sorry, Dr. Ladoko, I have to prevail. For the youth, could they have a picture with Mr. Vice President and the President AFDB so they can feel that they got their photograph? They've done it. Please.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And we would like to ask at this point for the Vice President and the President of the African Development Bank to remain on the podium, as well as the youth to take a separate photograph.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellencies. The Vice President and the young digital disruptors on the program, on the platform.
So young digital disruptors, can you look like you're disrupting something? Please, can we have your energy? All right. Great Nigerian youth. Great Nigerian disruptive youth. Well, do something disruptive. Let's put our hands together for them once again. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We are now going to invite to the podium immediately following all the representatives of the co-financing partners to join the Vice President and the President of the African Development Bank. All co-funding partners to join the platform, please. Yes, yes.
So immediately after this, we're going to be taking the national anthem, and there's going to be a networking session as a side event in a side room, please, for those once His Excellency the Vice President. All right. Oh, we understand there's Bank of Industry, after which, please, will be the national anthem. Thank you.
Could you kindly exit the platform, please, just leaving behind the Vice President and the President of the African Development Bank Group, as well as representatives of the co-funding institutions. In 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And at this point, we would like to ask His Excellency the Vice President and Dr. Additioner to remain on the platform. Thank you very much, gentlemen. So the second but last photograph is of their Excellencies together. Gentlemen, could you please exit the platform, please? Could you create some space? Could you please move to the side, please? Adayo, you and I. And Excellencies, we're going to seek permission here, and I'll be joined with Daya to take a photograph with you both. Daya, please, to Mr. President's right, and I'll stay right over here.
AFDB staff, I apologize, please. AFDB staff. And being BOI. AFDB and Bank of Industry. Dr. Lado, can you say sorry? AFDB, and Bank of Industry. Thank you. Okay, maybe, do we have a combined shot? And after this, the national anthem. Once again, there's going to be a networking session in the VIP room immediately after of all the stakeholders. Thank you. And we should also say there's going to be a side meeting. Some of the young founders, Excellency, they want to have a thank you fireside chat with you eventually. Now for the national anthem. National Anthem of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you. National Anthem, please. Peace and unity. A round of applause. Thank you. Permitting His Excellency, the Vice President and the President of the FDP to please depart the venue. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you very much.
Service here in Nigeria that is focused on making it simple for individuals or businesses to send money, make payments, and bank digitally. We are the largest mobile payment service here in Nigeria with now over 21 million users and a network of 140,000 plus agent points across Nigeria, whether that is to send money to a bank account, to withdraw money from their bank, to pay their bills, or to access other financial services. So my journey is by Phil Knight, and if you think about the fact that Nike today for the creative and tech industries, right? Whether that is debt funding or equity funding, I hope this program would also help lead our pension funds in Nigeria even to start thinking about venture capital, right? So anything that is really about driving capital, access to capital locally. If you look at China or India, they are no longer raising money from, just outside of their country. They're raising capital locally, and we need Nigeria to get to that kind of a place where, whether it's debt capital or equity capital, we're doing it locally.
in the heat of COVID in 2020. I had gone through a personal experience having lost my mom in March 2020 as a result of medical complications. And I was inspired to make sure that no other family had to experience what my family did, and just to ensure that like quality and affordable healthcare is accessible. So my name is Bruna Obafemi, and I am co-founder of Better Care, which is a digital health company that is currently democratizing healthcare by giving Nigerians access to doctors, pharmacies, laboratories, and ambulances through jammable devices for as low as 500 naira monthly. We have been operational for over a year, and we went live with our product Better Care towards later 2022, and so far we have been able to provide quality healthcare to over 7,000 Nigerians. We were able to acquire a grant in December 2022, which has gone a long way in improving our business operations and also just ensuring that we can provide better care to other Nigerians. About IDIC, I believe in 2022. I thought it was an amazing initiative. My first reaction was thinking about the cascading effect on our economy, especially in terms of economic and financial outlook. I would like to see this program focus on ensuring that women-owned businesses can have better access to funding, and also just mentorship to enable these startups and these both digital and creative companies continue to scale and continue to be in operation.
Someday we would sing like the sun.